Today, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to take you through the behind the scenes, a little bit of the logic in terms of how we think through point cloud creation, especially when it comes to 360. That's right, 360 degrees. Now, most of you using Cockpit3D have been enjoying 3D Pop or the 180. Of course, a lot of inquiries on how can you utilize Cockpit3D to generate that super striking HD saturated point cloud result using 360. So we're going to go through the thinking process, and what we develop is going to really be based on the feedback that you provide. If this sounds interesting, stick around. Cockpit3D brought to you by 3dcrystal.com. Next. And welcome to Cockpit3D, brought to you by 3dcrystal.com. So do you remember those chapter books you used to read where at the end of a chapter they'd give you a few options, and based on the decision that you want to make, you'd flip to that page and so the story would go, right? And you'd actually make the decisions that would dictate how the outcome would be in whatever the book was that you were reading. So that's essentially what we're doing today. Today we're going to give you a sneak peek and share with you a little bit about some of the functions that we can develop into Cockpit3D and hear from you as to whether you think it's interesting, whether it's going to help your business or not. And based on the comments that we get right here in this video, we will then make decisions on what our next steps are and what we're going to be introducing into Cockpit3D. Does that sound good? All right. If so, here we go. So first thing we're going to do is look at Cockpit3D, and I've loaded here a 3D plane, and I want to show you essentially the differences between what you currently use and what we're looking at offering in the coming future. Again, it's all really based on your input and what you tell us would help you. Okay, and based on that, we will then dedicate resources, dedicate a budget, and develop as required. So essentially what you see here is a plane. However, if I turn it, you'll notice it's 360. And this is something that we actually offer today. You can send in an email with photos of what you want to have made to 360. It could be a single image, it could be reference images, and our artists will actually model it by hand. And what you get is strikingly accurate and quite remarkable. So while we understand there are certain generators out there that'll generate 360 based on prompts or based on images you provide, really the accuracy of what is being created along with not just the modeling but the texture is where the key differentiation point is when you're using a human artist. And as you'll remember from my last video, for me, it's extremely important that we exercise HITL, which is human in the loop, okay? And so therefore, if ever you want a 360 created, just let us know and we can model it for you. We'll provide you with a scene file and you'll be able to do what I'm doing here today. The question becomes, what happens when your customer, your client, gives you a 360 model that their engineering team has already designed? What happens then when you want to create a high quality point cloud and you're restricted to, you really can't? And that's where we kind of want to open up Cockpit3D to enable you to kind of, through the system, upload that OBJ with the texture file, let our system do its thing, and get you a Cockpit scene file, so then you'd be able to generate that same high quality texture that you all have grown to love in the 3D Pop or the 180 that we currently generate for you. So if we look at this here, and let's assume that you were to generate this plane as a 360 point cloud with existing point cloud generators out there. What would it look like? So it would look something like this, okay? So you'll see all the points and you've got your full 360, okay? Now, while some, especially those that are new to SSLE, would be interested and intrigued and excited about what they're seeing here, this is, in our world, completely unacceptable. It's not something that we would actually ever engrave as a gift for a client that is looking to purchase from us. So if a client was looking to purchase 100 of these to give as gifts to someone, this here really would not be something that I personally would want to put my branding or my signature on. So how do we make it look better? Well, we all know that the way we currently do things is with what's called portrait, right? 852 and we click on OK, and we click on Go. Whoops. Let's make sure we've got the workable layer there, and let's click on Go. And now you see it looks much better, right? So this looks a lot better than just that plain white that we had before. Now, what are the problems with this? What do you think the problem is with this plane? If you're looking at it right now, what are you assuming the issue is with this point cloud? You can't really see the issue from this angle, but I'll show you what the issue is if I rotate it. You're missing half the plane, and the wing has also got all these additional points that it has put there to kind of fill the space that it's assuming is the shadow of what is being casted by the wing onto the body of the plane. And by the way, why is it that we're missing all these points? The reason is because the viewport, the camera that's being used here for this viewport, for this angle, is only able to generate points for what it sees. Okay, so how do we fix this problem? Well, I can fix this problem, at least the wing. I can fix this by selecting projection. And if I select projection mode and click on Go, I'm just going to turn it a little bit here and click on Go. Now, all those additional points are gone and it looks much cleaner. However, we still have an issue. The issue is that we're missing half of the plane. So this is where it gets interesting. Now, in this scenario, what we have is called X-ray. Now with X-ray, what happens is it's going to look at every part of this 3D model from the furthest point all the way through to the point that's closest to the camera. And not only is it going to look at the exterior, but it's also going to look at the interior. So while I know that this plane is empty inside of it, if the plane happened to have a cockpit, happened to have seats, right? All of it would actually also generate as points and be visible in the final point cloud. Now we've kept this actually intentionally hollow because it's a whole other discussion on what sorts of projects look good with all those interior details and what don't. But I can tell you that for the purposes of an award like this, or a gift like this, it is really the striking impact of the plane, the 3D, aerodynamic design of the plane, the texture of the plane that attracts people, and not so much the interior. And so therefore we intentionally make these sorts of models hollow inside. So if I select X-ray, and I'll just increase my layers to 5 here, my Z factor, and click on Go. Now we've got the front and we've got the other side as well. Isn't that cool? And by the way, it's always based on preference, and it's also based on models, because some models that are like spherical might look better with a different format in terms of how the points are being casted or generated. So watch this. If I go back to X-ray and I select multi-project, by the way, what does this mean? Directional means that it's looking best from the frontal direction. So when I'm looking at the crystal from this direction, it's looking the best. If I changed it to look best from the left side, okay, let's actually rotate it right now, okay, and let's click on Go. And watch, it should look better if I generate this now. It should look better from this angle because I've selected it for it to look better when we're watching it from the left side. See that? And now it looks a lot sharper from the left side, but from the front now, it looks a little bit more gradient. You're not getting that beautiful logo on the tail, etc., right? The numbers on the engine. So, in most cases, we want it to look best from the angle at which the customer is intended to be watching the crystal, and that's generally the front. So I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to click on Go. Okay, now, I was talking about how spherical objects might turn out better with a different casting. So multi-project, it changes the way in which it's projecting these points, looking at it from top to bottom, selecting one of those, left to right, front to back, and essentially it looks at one or the other, and it makes a decision as to where to cast the points from. So I'm just going to select multi-project and see what it looks like. Okay, now I'm not preferring what I'm seeing here, but I want to try one more, which is surface normal. And surface normal essentially is looking at every surface and it's casting a point from that direction. So this here might be an interesting one to look at when you're doing something that is like a cube, for example, where it gives you the best point cloud from every direction, from the front, from the side, etc. For this particular model, I still think that X-ray, I still think that X-ray from the front is going to look the best. Okay, now, while this looks good, we all love the 3D pop texture and the way that it bakes those point clouds, okay? So we really do. And so watch this. Let's select that. Let's go back to edit geometry and let's select projection from the front, and let's just see what it looks like. Okay, this here to me is optimal. This looks best. In fact, I could make it look even better if I launch the texture in Photoshop. And yes, I do know that the texture looks different, but it's because it's a texture wrap for 360. So essentially, this process requires an OBJ that is under 100 megabytes and one single texture graphic file. That's it, okay? Not multiple graphic files, just one that has everything wrapped into it. And what I'm doing here is I'm just brightening it. I'm gonna apply an S-curve actually, which does brightness and contrast. Merge it, save it, Control S, and let's refresh it. And let's go back to our point cloud and let's click on go. Not that much better yet. Let's do that again. So again, if I want to make changes, I have to click on the brush again, because now that I've saved and refreshed, it's not going to make any update unless I click on the brush again, launch the texture once again. Let's merge it, save it, and refresh it. Yeah, I think that's going to look better. Let's actually look at it. So this is before, this is after. Now the problem here is that while we like the look of projection, we're missing the backside. So what do? So in this case, what I recommend is that we go into projection and we click on the back. So you can actually cast points from different angles. So I'm going to, before I even do this, I just want to make sure that first of all, this point cloud was the one that was showing what it looks like done on a different system, not even Cockpit3D, where it's just kind of plain white. Okay, so I don't need that anymore. But just as a reminder, this is what that was. Okay, so I'm gonna hide that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add this as a layer. So Tool, Add Point Cloud, and I'm gonna label it so I don't get confused. This one here was Projection Front, 1 of 2, okay? Now, I'm gonna hide it, and I'm going to project the back. So let's go to the back, enable it, turn your fill solid off, because this here is gonna essentially make the point cloud generation ignore the texture, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna make it just plain white, kind of like what other softwares do. So we don't want that. Sometimes it's good if a 3D file that's provided to you by a client just doesn't have any texture, then yeah, you can just fill solid with white. But in this case, we have texture. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go a little lighter on the back. And the reason that I'm going a little lighter on the back, and I'm doing 3 layers as opposed to the 6 or 8 layers, is because when we're looking at the plane, we don't want the back to be as strong as the front, because it's going to interrupt the view of the front. Remember that it's glass, it's crystal, it's transparent material. And therefore, whatever you're doing on the back, you're gonna see right through the front anyway. It's not like it's hidden. And so therefore, what I like to do is whenever I'm creating a 360, I will give the most power, the most points, the most layers to the front, and then less layers on the back. So we're gonna do this one with 3. Click on, let's look at it from the top when I click on go. I just wanna show this to you. So click on go. Oh, what happened? I think I had my front on as well. Let's turn my front off. Just keep my back on, save, okay, go, and there we go. Okay, now I've got my back. So what I can do here is I can add this as another layer, and I'm gonna call it projection back 2 of 2. So I've got both of the layers that I want. And now I can hide my workable file. So that's the back, and I'm gonna unhide the front. Okay? And now the back is there, but it's not entirely interrupting the front. Now you might ask, well, hang on. It looks good, but why am I seeing the tail with so many layers? And that has to do with the front. You see the front here? So normally you don't care about that because normally you're doing 3D pop, you're not paying attention to all the other angles that you're looking at. Here you are. So this might be a problem. So if that is a problem, then the recommendation becomes playing around with your layer settings, okay? So what I would do in this case is I'm going to actually delete that front layer. And I'm gonna do it again. Edit geometry. And I'm going to, first of all, reduce my Z factor to 3. So it's compressing the space, maybe even 2. But because I'm doing that, I really have to increase my Z layer distance. So I'm not sure if you guys recall from another video, but if you're going to increase this, you gotta decrease your Z factor. If you're gonna increase your Z factor, then you can definitely decrease this. So what I'm gonna do, since I decreased my Z factor, I'm gonna increase this. And I'm gonna click on go, and let's take a look at the tail now. All right, so you can see, oh, sorry, that's not a good example because that's looking at that's projecting from the back. We wanna enable the front. We wanna disable the back. Oh, it's still not too good. Okay, let's try this again. Edit geometry. Let's reduce the layers to 6. And let's reduce our Z layer distance to 10 maybe. Click on OK, click on go. There you go. Okay, much better. So now I'm gonna actually add this one as a layer. So let's tool, add point cloud preview to scene. And this is gonna be my projection. 1 of 2, front. So now if I hide my workable scene file and I unhide my back, now I've got my full 360-degree plane. Now, one other thing is that there might be some parts that are missing in this plane that the camera from the front angle and from the back angle couldn't see. For example, you could see this part here of the engine. Maybe some parts of the wing are invisible, right? So what I like to do is I like to combine recipes here, okay? So what I would do is I would hide these now, and I'll take my scene file and I will do an X-ray, okay? But I'll only make it 1 layer. And not only that, I'm going to really spread out my points. I'm gonna make it like 0.10 and 0.16, for example. Okay, I'm just playing with numbers, but you can see the point is that I'm increasing the space. The reason I'm doing that is because remember, when I burn this file, now I've got points that are coming from here, I've got points that are coming from this layer, and I have points that are coming on top of all of those from the X-ray. So let's just do that right now. Edit geometry, X-ray, okay, click on go. So I really don't want my point cloud to crack. So that's why I've kept these points really, really spaced out, just as a filler. And I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna call this one here X-ray. Okay. So now, if I hide the workable scene file, I unhide my frontal layer, I unhide my back layer, and now I unhide X-ray, and it finishes it off. Isn't that cool? And there you go, and that's 360. So of course, I wouldn't leave it like this. One common question we get, especially with models that are 360, because now you have to worry about the depth a lot more in the crystal, is this. Watch, let me show you. Is if I try and put this, for example, into a 90 by 60 by 60 crystal, just gonna hide my point clouds and work with my scene file. And I try and maximize this, that's the largest I'm gonna get. And do you know why? The reason that this is not going from this edge to this edge is because if I look at it from the top, my wings have already hit the maximum. So in order to resolve this, what I would do is I would first of all rotate, bring it on an angle. And again, if I try and do this, it's gonna make it smaller because now it's looking at these corners, the turquoise corners here. So I'm gonna have to do this visually. In the aviation world, we call it VFR for my fellow pilots out there. Interesting note, by the way, a lot of the buyers of our lasers are either private pilots or commercial pilots or people that just love aviation just because of the whole theme around aviation. In case you didn't know this yet, the reason that we name everything what we do is because my passion is aviation. In fact, when I was much younger, I spent many hours flying a Cessna 170 and doing circuits, taking off and landing at our local airport. I just loved it so much. And so everything is themed around aviation, whether it be the Jet Mini Express, the Jet Mini, the drone, the rocket, the software, Cockpit3D, etc. All right, the other thing that I would do is I would play with my rotation here. Rotate it. Isn't that looking cool? Isn't that awesome? All right, hang on. Wow, okay. I want it to look like it's gonna fly right out of this crystal. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to make that nose. So this is the edge of the crystal here, right? And that's the safety margin. So I'm just gonna, reduce my safety margin to 2. There we go. And let's look at it from the front. Okay, just remember, do this. Oh, you know what? It's pointing downwards. Let's get it to point upwards. Okay, now I'm just having a little bit of fun. But what I definitely want to ask, there we go. Okay, what I definitely want to ask you guys is, oh, hang on. Now I messed up the, so you always want to look at it from all angles, okay? Make sure you look at it from all angles. There we go. I'm happy with that. So a couple things. One is generate your point cloud after you've decided your angles, okay? Because with this angle here, you might not even need to cast the back, which means you reduce the chances of cracking because you might not need the back layer. Let me explain. Watch this. I'm gonna go, let's just go 07. And you know what? When you're doing 360, there are more points. So you might decide to space this out a bit, especially your Z. But for now anyway, I want to point something out. So let's go here, 852, save, okay, go. Okay, look, because of the angle, I'm actually getting this wing, I'm getting that engine, I'm getting this part of the tail. Isn't that awesome? So what am I missing? I'm just missing a little bit. So do I really need to cast from the back if I've got this angle? Maybe not. Maybe what I can do is I can add this as a layer here. Okay. This one here is my quarter angle And what I'll do is I'll just do the filler with X-ray. And I'm going to space this one out. Let's go 10 and 10. X-ray, one layer, save, okay, go. 1 second, hang on. Was that really one layer? 0.1, one layer, X-ray. Oh, I think I haven't hidden. Yeah, I didn't hide my quarter angle, that's why. Okay, so I was able to see the point cloud from that. So let's just click on go here, there we go. Now we've got our X-ray, so it gives us everything. Let's add that as a layer. X-ray angle. Okay, let's hide our workable scene file and let's unhide our quarter angle. Wow, isn't that awesome? Oh my goodness. And just imagine adding like clouds, the pilot's image in 3D 180, which you can merge into this, number of hours flown, maybe it's a logo from the airline. I mean, my goodness. And so you can see the quality of this. Okay, so I have a question for you, right? So I asked at the beginning that this is kind of like that chapter book, the chapter book where you choose the course of what direction we're gonna go. So here's the fun part. In the comments, let us know, would this help you? Are you just kind of focused on 2D and importing flat images? Are you happy and just okay focused on 3D pop, which for most of our projects, we're okay with 3D pop. That's why we haven't actually done much marketing or building of this entire feature, okay? But as I see what's happening in the marketplace and what Cockpit 3D is capable of, I'm intrigued. I know that we can do it over here. Is this something that you would like? And if so, let us know based on the response. Maybe what will go to the top of the list is the ability for you to send in an OBJ and a texture file that you generate anywhere that you want or that you get from your customer. And within your FastPass portal, upload those two files, let our system do its thing, and within half an hour to an hour, you now have a cockpit file that you're able to use to generate high definition point clouds. Let us know, and based on that, we can talk to our devs and we can get working on perhaps the next edition of something that we offer here in Cockpit 3D. Thank you so much for watching.